My mother told me never to accept sweets from strangers.
Come on, Paul. This is serious. Start with that one.
That was okay?
How about this one?
But the cream's a little on the sour side. Beyond its shelf life, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
This one has an aftertaste. Perfectly good to start with, but a kind of woody aftertaste.
Last one.
That's fine. Too sweet for my taste. It's not one of ours, is it?
Pretty good, Paul. The first is part of a consignment that arrived last night, so it should have been okay. The second still has 5 days shelf life left, or should have. It's part of a batch we shipped to our Georgetown store to test customer reaction down there. Luckily, it was only the one carton that went bad.
Well, we were lucky then. How could it have happened?
My guess is it spent half an hour in the sun somewhere along the line.
That's worrying, though.
Sure is. So, the third is the remedy we tried. Minute quantities of natural preservative, just enough to bump the shelf life up to 31 days. And you noticed an aftertaste.
I'm afraid I did.
You were also correct on the last one. It isn't one of ours. It's from the Charleston collection. It's an American product, very upmarket, and, as you noticed, sweeter than our own old masters.
What is it you're trying to say to me, Eileen?
2 things. Shelf life is 1. This is the first time we've shipped outside of New England. I'd hardly call it an unqualified success. What happens if we send shipments out west? In my opinion, we have to find an acceptable way to make the product last longer.
I see what you're getting at, Eileen. But it's the question of expense. It could send our costs too high. And we're already a little price sensitive.
Okay, Paul. Point 2. The American market. Now, I like your chocolates, and clearly sales indicate that a lot of other people do too. The thing is, Americans generally prefer their chocolates smaller and sweeter. I was wondering if on some of the range we couldn't make a few concessions to their taste.
No, Eileen, I can't accept that. Tradition is our selling point. Traditional Belgian chocolates, fresh. If we try to compete with American practice, additives, preservatives, high sugar content, we'd be lost. Can't you see that?
Yeah, I know, Paul. I thought that's what you'd say. So, let's concentrate on the shelf life issue. If we don't crack that, we're not going to get off the ground in the U.S.
Well, I'd like to take a look at your delivery operation. I'd like to know more about your distribution setup. Maybe there are a few bugs that could be taken out of that.
Maybe. But what it boils down to is costs.
What are we talking about? Road, rail?
We have a contract with the truck line. They deliver to all our stores. We could try and do a deal for special delivery, but it pushes up unit costs, as you well know, Paul.
I understand, Eileen. Of course I do. But there must be a way around this problem.
If there is, then we'll find it.
Good. Tell me, do you have any data on the average customer purchase so far?
Yeah. Each store is averaging... yeah, here it is. Is averaging a little over 60 purchases a week. That works out to around 22 ounces per customer.
That sounds good.
That's based on store traffic of between 3,500 to 4,000 customers per week. There's still plenty of room for growth.
And have you reached a decision on regular quantities yet?
We know what we'd like to do, but we're going to have to talk about price first.
I don't have any leeway on price, Eileen. Wessner's get the highest markup of all our customers.
I'm not surprised. A perishable import like fresh chocolate carries high transport and even higher insurance costs. It's an expensive item for us to carry.
I grant you that. But I'd hate to see our prospects in the U.S. ruined by overpricing.
I hear you, Paul. I hear you, but we feel we're reading the market pretty well. And it isn't easy, since there are plenty of very fine homegrown products in there, too.
I know that. The thing is, Eileen, I've got bad news on that front.
Uh-oh.
There's a price rise in the pipeline.
Paul, you just said...
I'm sorry, but we've been negotiating with our employees for the last 9 months over their salary increases. We agreed on 10.5%. It was that, or we'd have a strike on our hands.
Uh-huh.
We just can't absorb all of that ourselves. We have to pass some of it on.
Oh, I get it. And you don't want us to pass your increase onto our customers, is that correct?
Is that possible?
Paul, we're being squeezed hard enough as it is. With the dollar slipping like crazy, we could find ourselves losing 35% of our profit.
I realize it isn't easy.
Easy? Look, we are prepared to double our order on condition there is no price increase for a guaranteed period.
No conditions, sorry.
Paul, you can't increase the price. Otherwise, we'll be forced to look elsewhere.
No ultimatums either, Eileen, please. Now look, we both want an agreement on this, don't we? Then there must be some middle ground.
I'm going to need stable prices with adequate early warning on any increase and a bigger discount, say 6%.
6.
We'd also like to trade on open account.
Now, hold on. I'd need a letter of credit. It's company policy.
Totally unreasonable, if I may say so.
I don't make company policy.
All right, Paul, that's fine. It just makes doing business with you that much more complicated and that much more expensive. Couldn't you make a small concession?
No, it can't be done.
Okay, no ultimatums, huh? But you've got to see that we can't consider any expansion until we see a decent profit in it.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll hold the present price for 3 months.
That's not good enough.
Okay, we'll talk around that one. I'll hold the prices if you can guarantee new orders, and I mean a substantial increase.
What are we talking about here?
25 to 35% over 6 months.
That'll barely give us time to get a foothold in the market. Could you agree on the price freeze for that period?
I should think so. But you'd have to agree to the top end of the increase in your order, 35%.
I was thinking more in terms of 25.
30, and we have a deal. I'll hold the price for 6 months, then you can cope with the price rise.
Is there any possibility of staggering that?
No, I'm sorry, there isn't.
Okay. I think we're going to have to accept that. Have another chocolate.
No, I'm going on a diet.